Hey everyone, and welcome. In this video, we're unpacking eye, dental, and specialty care devices, a building block that sits in a really interesting middle ground. It's healthcare because it's regulated, clinician-led, and outcome-based. But parts of it behave like consumer spending because aesthetics and premium upgrades are often paid out of pocket. The goal is simple. By the end, you'll know what's inside this block, what these companies actually sell, how they make money, how customers behave, how sensitive it is to the economy, what has changed recently, and what the future could look like in different scenarios. All right, now that you know where we're going, let's start with what actually sits inside this block. You can think of this block as three product worlds that share similar economics: specialist users, premium outcomes, and lots of recurring follow-on revenue. First is eye care. That includes cataract surgery systems and intraocular lenses, glaucoma devices, including minimally invasive glaucoma surgery, refractive solutions like implantable lenses, and some laser-adjacent consumables, and then vision correction consumables like contact lenses and lens care products. Second is dental. That includes dental implants and restorative components like implants, abutments, and crown interfaces. It includes orthodontics, clear aligners, and also brackets and wires. It includes dental imaging and practice tech like scanners, CBCT imaging, and CAD/CAM workflows. And it includes consumables like endodontics, bonding, polishing, and infection control. Third is specialty care platforms closely related to eye and dental workflows. Often small but premium categories sold into specialist clinics, so that's what's in the box. Next, let's talk about what these companies actually sell, because that explains the revenue engine. Most companies here mix three revenue streams. The first is hardware or capital equipment: scanners, imaging systems, CAD/CAM mills, and ophthalmic surgical systems. The second is procedure-linked consumables: lenses, implants, aligners, and single-use packs that get used when a procedure happens. The third is service and software: maintenance, training, workflow software, and sometimes cloud-based case management. This structure is a big reason the category can be attractive. A company can place equipment once, build an installed base, and then earn recurring revenue from the consumables, service, and software tied to that installed base. Now that we've set up the what and the what they sell, the next step is the money question. What are the main business models, and why do some of them become durable platforms? There are three main business models. One is consumables first franchises, like contact lenses, lens care, and many dental consumables. They're attractive because repeat purchase is the default. Two is procedure-linked per-case revenue, like cataract, IOLs, glaucoma implants, dental implants, and aligners. Revenue scales with procedure volumes and also with how much premium mix you can capture. Three is capital equipment plus pull-through. You sell imaging, scanners, or surgical systems upfront, and then you earn recurring revenue from service, disposables, and software attached to that installed base. This is also a capital-heavy space in specific ways. Companies invest in R&D and clinical evidence, especially in implants, glaucoma, and premium IOL pathways. They invest in regulatory and quality systems, including validation and post-market surveillance. They invest in precision manufacturing and supply chain, often with sterile packaging and material science. And they invest heavily in specialist selling, sales force training, and clinic onboarding, plus software and workflow integration. Now let's turn that into economics. What drives margins, and what makes returns better over time? The basic economic logic is that outcomes matter and products are specialized, so gross margins are often high. In premium categories, many leaders run around 60 to 70% gross margins, and strong franchises commonly reach 20 to 30% operating margins, though it varies based on mix and scale. Returns improve when a company grows its installed base and increases recurring pull-through. They improve when the company owns a workflow, because training and software integration makes switching painful. They improve when premium mix rises, like premium IOL pathways, premium aligner cases, or advanced implant systems. And they improve when the company reduces friction for clinics, fewer remakes, more predictability, and faster chair time. So the business models and economics are clear. Next, we need to understand the customers, because this is where the block starts behaving partly like healthcare and partly like consumer. Let's start with how demand shows up. In eye care, patients typically enter through optometry or ophthalmology exams. Usage often spikes at life stages, myopia management earlier, and cataract and glaucoma later. Demand can be medical necessity, like cataracts and glaucoma, but it can also be lifestyle preference, like contact lens convenience and refractive outcomes. In dental, routine care is frequent, like cleanings and diagnostics, but big-ticket procedures are episodic, implants when teeth are lost, and orthodontics during adolescence and increasingly adult cosmetic demand. Now, stickiness depends on the product. Contact lenses are naturally recurring. Switching friction comes from comfort and fit, plus practitioner recommendations. And the market size estimates vary widely by definition. Some sources place 2024 around $11 billion globally, while others place it around $20 billion. On screen, use the contact lenses market chart to anchor that long-run growth. Clear aligners are episodic per patient, but they become sticky for clinics once they commit to a workflow, scanner, planning, and brand training. The clear aligners market has been estimated around $6.5 billion in 2024. On screen, refer to the clear aligners market chart. Next, let's make customer economics more concrete with typical spend ranges. Pricing varies a lot by country, insurance, and clinic model, so think of these as directional ranges. For contact lenses, many wearers spend a few $100s per year. The FTC has cited figures like about $121 annual spend on lenses in a public workshop context, older data, while modern retail ranges can be much wider depending on modality. Manufacturer margins can still be attractive because lenses are consumables. For clear aligners, case value is often several $1,000s per treatment in many markets, commonly cited around $3,000 to $8,000 paid by the patient. Manufacturer economics depend on scale, remake rates, and how marketing intensive the model is. For dental implants, case value is often several $1,000s per tooth in many markets, commonly cited around $3,000 to $7,000, all in per tooth in a U.S. context. On screen, refer to the dental implants market chart to connect the spend profile with the growth curve. For cataract surgery, payer dynamics matter. In systems like Medicare, patients often pay a share. Medicare describes typical cost-sharing concepts like 20% of Medicare-approved amounts after a deductible, and then premium upgrades may be out of pocket. Now that we've grounded what people buy and what it costs, the next question is, why does the customer pool keep growing over time? There are three big tailwinds in the analysis. First is demographics and chronic conditions. Aging increases cataract and tooth loss pools over time, which supports procedure volumes. Second is the sheer scale of vision need. The World Health Organization estimates at least 2.2 billion people have near or distance vision impairment. Third is the specific growth vectors in eye disease and vision correction. Myopia is projected to rise substantially. A major meta-analysis projected that by 2050, around 50% of the world could have myopia, with uncertainty and definitions applying. On screen, that's the myopia projection chart. Glaucoma prevalence is also projected to grow with aging. Classic projections estimate around 111.8 million people with glaucoma worldwide by 2040. On screen, refer to the macular degeneration and glaucoma projection visual. On the dental side, implants have an underpenetration story. Reuters quoted Straumann, illustrating a very large affordability pool of about 220 million people who could afford implants annually, versus much smaller treated volumes of about 17 million per year. So the long-run pool is expanding, but the short run can still be sensitive to the economy. Let's cover that sensitivity next. This block sits between defensive and cyclical. If employment and disposable income weaken, the first things people postpone are elective and upgrade spend, clear aligners, premium IOL upgrades, and elective aesthetic dentistry. Medically necessary care, like advanced cataracts and serious glaucoma, tends to hold up better. If interest rates stay high, clinics may delay buying big equipment like scanners and imaging, and consumer financing becomes harder for out-of-pocket categories. DSOs may push harder on vendor pricing, which can pressure margins. If foreign exchange moves sharply, reported margins can swing for global manufacturers, especially exporters. If regulators tighten device rules or cybersecurity requirements, compliance costs rise, which can hurt small entrants, but strengthen large incumbents with robust quality systems. And if safety issues or recalls happen, trust can drop quickly and slow adoption. Now, what changed in the last 3 to 5 years? The analysis points to more willingness to pay for premium outcomes, but also more shopping behavior in elective categories, more price transparency, comparison, and financing. Digital dentistry workflows have become central in orthodontics and are spreading into implants and restorations. DSOs and clinic chains have expanded influence through centralized procurement, and software attachment is rising through planning, cloud ordering, and integrated follow-up. With that setup, we're ready for the final part, the outlook across near, medium, and long term, and the three scenarios. Near term, a lot stays the same. Specialist-driven selling still depends on clinician trust and training, and the core demand tailwinds remain aging, chronic eye disease, and orthodontic aesthetics. Recurring revenue models remain the quality marker: consumables, service, and software. What may shrink is standalone products without workflow integration, because they're harder to defend. And small brands competing only on price may struggle if DSOs tighten vendor lists and require reliability and service guarantees. What may grow is premiumization in cataract and dental. Even if volumes are steady, mix can shift toward higher value solutions. Localized competition in emerging markets can intensify as local champions win on distribution and cost structure. Medium term, the platform plus pull-through model remains best in class and regulation stays a moat. One-size-fits-all offerings may fade as outcomes expectations rise. Pure direct-to-consumer orthodontics without robust clinical oversight has already faced credibility challenges, so growth likely favors clinician-supervised models. Digital dentistry becomes the default operating system. Scanning and planning become table stakes. On screen, use the digital dental workflow graphic to show scan to design to manufacturing as the loop that raises switching costs. Long-term, outcome-based ecosystems can grow. Vendors sell predictable results, not just devices, and hardware-only economics without recurring service or software may be structurally disadvantaged. AI-enabled planning and automation show up as an ROI story because clinics buy what reduces remakes and saves chair time. Emerging market scale becomes a defining battleground, and some elective categories may increasingly be framed around functional or health outcomes, not just cosmetics. Finally, the three scenarios. Upside: premiumization accelerates, digital workflows boost throughput, and underpenetrated categories expand faster. Base: volume grows with demographics, but pricing is mixed, with DSO pressure in dental and steady premium growth. Downside: prolonged consumer weakness hits elective spend, procurement compresses pricing, and regulatory or safety events slow adoption, leaving profitability concentrated in the biggest, safest ecosystems.